Hello everyone, welcome back to Fractal 101. My name is Alex. Thank you so much for watching this video. In today's video, we're talking about the chorus block. What is chorus and how do I use it? Where do I put it in my signal chain? A chorus is simply taking your dry, unaffected signal and detuning it a certain amount, which is your depth, whether it's 5 cents, 80 cents, with a really wide chorus effect, and at what rate does it go in and out of tune? The speed. This is very prominent in 80s music, especially when chorus rack effects were coming to prominence. Before that, Alex Lifeson was the king of the chorus tone, and also Andy Summers between flange and chorus pedals to really liven up their tone. You can put this in a bunch of different places in your rig, and it'll also change how you perceive that chorus tone. So let's dive right into how we do that. For this demonstration, we have a very simple preset input: amp, cab, and reverb. We have 4 different scenes with varying degrees of saturation. So we have clean, overdrive, crunch, and lead. Let's dial in a chorus block. So we can go to our menu, select chorus 1, and I have pulled up a Boss CE2 for my chorus type. This is based on the stomp box of the chorus ensemble. But you have many different types that you can choose from: analog, stereo, tape chorus. You have dual and tri choruses, digital. The sky's the limit. We really have a lot of options on the FM3 and even more options on the FM9 and Axe FX3. Our clean tone at stock settings will sound like this. And bringing that chorus in before the amp. At stock settings, this already sounds really good. A very nice, pleasant sound. Some things to consider: your mix knob controls how much of the chorus signal is getting through. This is not an option on every pedal, but in the Fractal system, we have that option. At 50% when running in series, as we are now, where everything runs into the next block, 50 is 50% chorus, 50% sound of our dry, unprocessed signal. So if we want less chorus, (50-50). Or maybe you want more chorus than dry sound. Our mix will accommodate. You can adjust the level that you're sending from the chorus into your amp block using the level control. If you're in series, set this to through, so that when you bypass or engage the function, you're not losing your signal entirely. Our 2 biggest components to deal with here are rate and depth. How quick does our chorus oscillate in and out of tune, and how far does it go in and out of tune, which is our depth. To hear the rate being accentuated, we turn our depth all the way up, and this is what we've been hearing for our rate thus far. If you want a slower chorus, this will go above and below the pitch once every 5 seconds. Or you could do it once every 5 seconds with a really quick chorusing rate. Almost sounds like a vibrato pedal in ways. So maybe you want it really fast, but you don't want nearly as much depth. You have a bunch of different LFO types. This is a low frequency oscillator. We have our triangle wave that we've been listening to, our typical sine wave at stock settings. Very smooth. We also have square. Everything else in here that you'll see is typically a variation on that. We also have random. You can assign the rate not just to a specific amount of repetitions, but you could lock this in to any tempo that you're at. Maybe you want this to oscillate at a quarter note of 100 BPM. Not a bad idea for certain things. You can also change the tone of any of your chorus pedals by adding low cut, high cut, and a little bit of drive. There's also a dimension mode, which will emulate the dimension chorus brought about by Boss. So if we go to our stock settings again, we can hear the difference between these dimension modes. We had it off. A very cool effect that is automatically dialed in with the dimension 1, 2, and 3 pedals. Now you might be thinking to yourself, this isn't where I put the chorus. Maybe I don't want the chorus at the beginning. This is where you'd put it if you were running in a vintage style. Like the people of the 70s where they only had pedals, there was no effects loop. This is where you might put that. As we move on through the years, maybe we have an effects loop. The chorus block would go in between your amp and your cab, essentially. And then with studio rack gear, outboard processing, all of these modern technologies, we could put the chorus at the end of our signal chain. So in order to accentuate the differences between vintage, the effects loop, and modern chorusing types running in series, we're going to bring up a crunch sound so you can hear what it sounds like to send a chorus signal into an amp, to send a chorused crunch tone into a cab, and then chorusing your amp and cab tones in series. Here we go. Now, as you can hear, quite a bit of difference in clarity when you add it at the end of the chain and chorus the fully processed saturated sound, as opposed to sending a chorused sound into your amp. Another thing to consider is that the chorus and many modulation effects are used in parallel. With the mix function, we sort of have that option within the Fractal. Not every pedal allows for that, but maybe you don't want to have your chorus and your flanger running one into the next. Maybe you want to have your clean signal, your chorus, and your flanger all blending in separate processing to add back in later for better clarity and control over each of the individual levels. There's a lot of different reasons to do it. Sometimes it's just what you're used to doing in a stereo mix live, or maybe in a studio function when you're recording. So let's hear the difference between our chorus in series and our chorus in parallel with similar settings. Not a crazy difference in the Fractal universe, but in a live setting or in a studio setting, this is crucial for being able to control how much of each of those signals you're processing and hearing in the final mix. Some things to consider when you are using this in parallel. You want your mix at 100%, so this side of your chain is only the chorus signal, using your level to adjust how much of that chorus you want in with your sound. I brought this to -3 dB, slightly less chorus, but if you have this at 0, you're adding 2 forms of signal back in, and you will actually get a volume boost. It should also be noted that if you're running in parallel, switch your bypass mode to effects out or mute out, so that when you're muting, you're not having a giant volume spike and having 2 sends and levels of your unprocessed signal. That does it for this Fractal 101 on chorus. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you can utilize chorus in your brand new presets. If you liked this video, we have playlists on Fractal 101, tutorials of tone, gear reviews, playthroughs, etc. throughout the channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.